the most important physicochemical property is aqueous solubility and its dissociation constant. Now, if we say, for example, if a molecule has to be absorbed, now first of all it has to be dissolved. For a drug to get absorbed inside the body, it means it has to be dissolved. Once it will be dissolved, it is in the solution state, then only it will be able to permeate across the membranes to get absorbed systemically. Now, if I have taken anything inside the stomach, means after the oral intake, then it will be, if it remains in the solid state, then it will not be absorbed. It will not go to the systemic circulation. So it is the basic requirement for a drug so that it comes into the solution state. And for a drug, if it comes in the solution state, it need to come in the ionized state. Now, degree of ionization, pKa value represents the degree of ionization, means the extent to which a molecule can ionize in a particular environment, and that environment is surrounding pH. Means, for example, if a drug has to be dissolved, then how its aqueous solubility can be expressed? Now, its aqueous solubility will be expressed by its dissolution rate, and it is explained by the equation that is given by the de-Noisy-Whitney equation, and by the noise, and then it is termed as de-Noisy-Whitney equation. Now, this de-Noisy-Whitney equation explains that change in concentration of time, change in concentration with time dt is equal to the dissolution rate constant. Here Kd is your dissolution rate constant, A is your surface area, and Cs is your aqueous saturation solubility of the drug. Now, this aqueous saturation solubility of the drug will be achieved after a particular period of time. Now, since the concentration is changing with time, and dissolution rate constant is a constant material surface constant, and A, it is the surface area which gets dissolved. Whenever we see anything gets dissolved, then its surface area gets changed. For example, if we are taking a candy inside our mouth, then what happens? As the candy dissolves, its size reduces and after a particular period of time it goes away. But we have the taste inside it because the content has dissolved in our salivary secretion, and then that content has reached to that of our taste buds to show the effect. It means it is bitter in taste, it is sweet in taste, and in case of the candies they are sweeter in taste. So we get the effect. Now it means dissolution of the drug will be governed by the surface area, means higher the surface area available for the dissolution, higher will be the rate of dissolution. Lesser the surface area available, lesser will be the dissolution. Now, if I say over here that solubility, now if I express solubility in terms of the surrounding pH and in terms of its dissociation constant, then the equation which is used to explain its solubility will be given as St is equal to S0 1 plus 10 raised to the power pH minus pK. What does it represent? It represents the total solubility of the drug at time t is equal to the inherent solubility of the drug into 1 plus 10 raised to the power pH minus pK of the drug, means dissociation constant of the drug. And this equation is usually given for weakly acidic drugs. However, for weakly basic drugs, since most of the drugs falls into the category of either weakly acidic or weakly basic, we have only very few drugs which are strongly acidic and strongly basic, and most of the drugs falls into the two categories, that is weakly acidic drugs and weakly basic drugs. And these weakly basic drugs are given by the formula. For that, the total solubility is given by 1 plus 10 raised to the power pKa minus pH. Now, what is the relation? How it can be utilized by pharmaceutical scientists? That what will be the behavior of the drug inside the gastrointestinal tract? For example, if I calculate the relative solubility of a drug in the our body, then it will be given as, for example, I have considered the two compartments. One is blood and another is the gastric environment, means the environment of the stomach. For that I have taken a weakly acidic drug like aspirin, and this aspirin has a pKa value of 3.4. Now we assume pH of the stomach. Since pH of the stomach ranges from 1 to 3, so I assume over here that pH, for that of the mathematical calculation, for the uniform and easy mathematical calculation, I assume the pH of the stomach is 2.4. We know the pH of the blood is 7.4, and now the relative solubility of the drug in the blood and relative solubility of the drug in the stomach will govern what will be the diffusion rate of the drug from the stomach to that of the systemic circulation. Means after dissolving in the stomach, then how much amount will go into the blood, into the systemic circulation, and how much will not be going to the systemic circulation. So here I will give it by the relative equation, then I have expressed it as relative solubility. Then it will be given as 1 plus 10 raised to the power pH minus pK, and here it is the pH of blood. pHb represents the pH of the blood, and pK is the dissociation rate constant of your drug. Now it will be divided by 1 plus 10 raised to the power pHg. pHg is the this pHg of the pH of the stomach minus pK. Now we can see over here that 1 plus 10 raised to the power, we have considered the pH of blood is 7.4 minus pK of the drug is 3.4, and it is given by 1 plus 10 raised to the power pH of gastric fluid is, we have assumed 2.4, pK is 3.4, then it is 1 plus 10 raised to the power 4 after calculation, and here it is 1 raised to the power 10 raised to the power minus 1. Now it can be equal to 1 plus 10 raised to the power 4 is equal to 10 raised to the power 4, and then it is equal to 1.01, almost equal. Then what is the relative solubility? Relative diffusion means the relative solubility of the drug in the blood is higher compared to the relative solubility of the drug in the stomach. It also explains, since if we consider this portion only, this part only, then we calculate over here that only few amount of the drug is in the ionized state, means few amount of the drug is in the solubilized state. If I says it is not in the solubilized state, means most of the drug is in the undissolved state. It means if the drug remains undissolved, means it will remain unionized. If it remains unionized, we have earlier also studied in the previous classes that absorption is dependent upon the degree of ionization. Higher the degree of ionization of the drug, least will be the absorption. But for the drug, it is essential that it should get dissolved and then only absorbed. Solution can be absorbed, but solid can't be absorbed. So a drug has to maintain a balance between the ionized state and unionized state. In a solvent system, if a drug comes and it comes in the ionized state and unionized state, then we say unionized drugs are more readily absorbed, but ionized forms are least absorbed. So in case of, if we have taken over here the case of aspirin, which is a weakly acidic drug, and this weakly acidic drug will dissolve to a lesser extent in the stomach, so it means it remains unionized, means the good absorption site for the weakly acidic drug like aspirin is stomach. And if we take it into but the solubility of the drug is higher in case of the blood. So there will be a higher gradient from stomach to that of the blood. When it will be absorbed, it will diffuse into that of the systemic circulation. But if we take the consideration, like if we take, in spite of the pH of the gastric fluid, we take the pH of the intestinal fluid. For example, we consider the pH of the intestinal fluid. pH of intestinal fluid is 7.4. For example, we have taken. Now, if it is 7.4, then calculation changes over here. It is 7.4. Then again it will be 4, and then 10 raised to the power 4, and it will be equal to 1. Means in case of the intestinal pH and relative solubility, we are calculating here relative solubility of the drug in intestinal fluid and the blood. Now the relative solubility of the drug in the blood and in the stomach is approximately coming equal. It is coming over here 1, and this represents that our formulation has, or our drug has, the higher solubility in the intestinal area and higher absorption in the stomach. So if the aspirin is given, then it will be unionized in the stomach, but it will be more soluble in our intestinal area. In the same manner, if we consider over here that for the drugs which are poorly soluble in nature, for the poorly soluble drugs, what happens that if a drug has a poor solubility, if the drug will be poorly soluble, then it will remain in the unionized state. If it is not in the solubilized state, then it will take longer time to dissolve. If it takes longer time to dissolve, then obviously it has its own extending behavior. Means it is extending its release in the solubilized state. Means we knows ki only when the drug is in the dissolved state and the extent to which it will exist in the ionized state or in the unionized state. Depending upon that ratio, if the portion that is unionized, that will be absorbed, but it need to be solubilized. Now, if the drug remains highly unionized and it is not ionized, then it is not soluble in nature. And those drugs which are poorly soluble in nature, then they have the least absorption also. Means they are not coming to the ionized state. Every solid has to be solubilized first and then it will be absorbed. Depending upon the extent how much amount exists in the ionized state and unionized state after coming into the solution state. So those drugs which have the poor solubility, then they are not the good candidates to manufacture the extended release formulations or sustained release formulations, because they are slowly dissolved in a very longer duration and they have their extending behavior themselves. Second thing, if a drug is highly soluble in nature, then we cannot retard its solubility. For example, if we are saying that we want to make a formulation for a drug which is readily soluble, then we need to give several coatings to reduce and retard its release as well as to slow down its release. So it is also difficult for the highly soluble drugs to facilitate its absorption. So those drugs which have the behavior in between, means which are not poorly soluble as well as which are not highly water soluble in nature, then they will be the suitable candidate to prepare the extended release formulations. And if it is highly soluble, then it will be the poor candidate. If it is less soluble, means less soluble in the sense it is poorly soluble, then also it will not be the suitable candidate to manufacture our extended release formulations. And next topic will be the partition coefficient.